It's always good that we see people are always, available, especially when we start to gather as intercessors, those that are praying for the nation. I'm so excited each time that I see names, various names already in the studio. It's a sign that shows that we are an army that is marching towards the freedom of the nation. Quite interesting. I hope you had a blessed day. Wanagogo Piri, Onkoma Luke, Mama Judith, how are you doing? And others. I can see quite a number of people already in the studio here with comments already. We are looking into days that are taking us to the very last, the days that Zimbabwe is awaited for a very long time. Yes, Mafia Good, how are you doing, my brother? Thank you so much, Mama Gladys. We are looking at what happened in Tanzania. You still remember Hichilema has sparked fire right inside Zambia after he went to Tanzania and grazed that shame of an election, as well as a shame of an inauguration. And of course, it was a shock, throughout, the whole Africa and probably the whole world. The person who was least expected to have been in Tanzania was actually Hichilema, which is quite sad, but it happened. So these are things. Up to now, people are still speculating on what really made Hichilema to just decide to take such an unfavorable and a despisable move that he made, going to Tanzania after the butcher of Tanzanians that we saw by that old Magogo. Now, because of that, we saw the resistance in Zambia, and at one point he was stoned. When he tried to address Zambians, which means the temperature is high up the ladder, right there in Tanzania. In Zambia, we might see quite a lot of, shifting of ground, especially on the part of Hichilema. And now, again, Hichilema is left with no excuse but to visit Harare for the Sadc meeting after Tanzania. So we have seen a letter that has been written by his government confirming that Hichilema was coming for the Sadc meeting in Harare. So you'd find that the time that Mnangagwa did is also, unfavorable and, treacherous inauguration. We saw that Hichilema did not come, especially after the 2023 elections. It was condemned, and Sadc condemned, AU, EU, all observers condemned that election. And we saw how ZANU-PF went on Nevas Mumba's neck and wanting to make a statement that it was actually Hichilema's blue-eyed boy, who came up with that, like it was, treachery. Yet there was no treachery there. It was just straightforward, right? So because of that, they blamed Nevas Mumba, they blamed Hichilema, they blamed Zambia. And we saw a lot of diplomatic tensions that happened between Zimbabwe and Zambia, with also Mnangagwa. Remember that time, bad-mouthing Zambia to Putin the other time. And then we saw Varakashi and these uncouth ZANU-PF youths also joining in that war, insulting the neighboring president and the nation. And it was quite bad. It was very, very bad during that time. Well, we are watching and seeing what is going to be happening. But I saw also a video of soldiers that were beating up people. And the person who posted it was saying that it was actually in Zambia. And the person was actually saying, we never thought we would see such kind of treatment of Zambians in the days of Hichilema. But it happened. I think probably it was during or immediately after that stoning event where soldiers beat up citizens. And well, this is bad stuff, right? Already that we are seeing happening. So now Hichilema will have to come to Zimbabwe for that Sadc meeting, because he doesn't have any excuse now. If he went to the inauguration of Samia, there's no way that he can stop coming to Zimbabwe, on the basis that there's no democracy, or Zimbabwe's government is not treating citizens well, or whatever reasons, possibly democratic reasons, right? So we saw this letter from the Zambian government that is confirmed that he is going to be coming this Friday, that is tomorrow, to the Sadc meeting that is going to be happening in Zimbabwe. Remember, Mnangagwa is still hungry for the leadership of Sadc. After Madagascar lost, the president has been removed, and then they abducted the throne. We saw now, South Africa becoming interim leader, and then Mnangagwa opting or volunteering to host the Sadc meetings. This is an expense. We understand that this Sadc is poorly run, and being poorly run, we've seen how they failed even to hold or to sustain a war, especially in Eastern DRC. They failed, and South Africa ended up footing the bill on their own until they had to withdraw totally in DRC. It was because of Sadc, right? Failure. And now, obviously, Sadc is not that organized that they can be able to fund some of these meetings. But Mnangagwa wants to tell the whole of Sadc and Africa that they have too much money and they don't know what to do with the money. That's why they are now deciding to volunteer to host such meetings. There's a lot of money involved, there. But ivo vane mari yekutambisa, vane mari yakawandisa, havatozivi zvokuita nayo, because vari kuba every cent that belongs to every citizen of Zimbabwe. Saka yakavawandisira mari yacho, vale mari enengi avaichonchayo, so havazi kuti vatini hayo imali until sebe-opta bona ukuthi hayi hit esi-opta ukuthi siholde wona lawa ama-meetings awe-Sadc at the expense of the nation. But, well, that's what dictators do. They'll just do what they want and think that nobody is going to ever challenge them. But this is the situation and this is the dilemma. So Hichilema has lost that integrity now. I don't think that he still has any capacity to condemn any government that will be mistreating its people or running any country by iron fist. It's not going to happen anymore because his stones will be thrown at him if ever he's going to criticize anybody. So even now with ZANU-PF, we are in trouble because Hichilema cannot speak anymore. He can't say anything now after the visit to Tanzania. So you can see the dent that has happened. Hichilema nevanga risingata, a permanent dent that is on him. He can't diplomatically restore himself. I don't think that he's ever going to win the hearts of the African people, especially Southern Africa, with how much people have been looking up to him as one of those answers to the new Africa that we want. In Africa, with leaders that respect their people, that come in democratically, and that would respect the will of their citizens. But he has squandered that, that political capital. So it already means that in the coming elections, there's going to be very, very interesting times in Zambia, which means that there's going to be a big, big problem. So this is the situation. We'll keep watching and seeing how far this thing is going to get to. Can someone tell HH that if he gets sick while in Zimbabwe, he won't get medication? Yeah, I think they will come prepared. This time around, I think say, what do I say? What will be my reason for not coming? Yes, Mkoma Temba, how are you doing? Thank you so much for being with us here. And this HH went to Harare for election lessons since he now knows the Zambians will not vote for him after supporting slow sham elections. He has soiled his name big time. Yeah, I do agree with you there. But big time. He has messed up, his political standing. And right now, I think he's left with totally no integrity whatsoever. And good evening, Apostle Chatufa and family. How are you doing? Nyenge Tribe Basera, thank you so much for being with us. Right. And this one, apana zvinozivikanwa kunze kwekuba neupombwe namnangagwa. Right, exactly. Right. So, Mama Lucia, how are you doing, my sister? And blessed day, Chatufa family. More research is needed to why HH has compromised himself to dictators' demands. Yeah, I think you are right there. We need to really more. You remember last time I gave you an economic reason before we also heard of other reasons that were coming up, but we had that as a possibility. But I was discussing with one diplomat who was saying that that would not have compromised his trade routes. because trade routes are agreements that last even through regimes. They still continue. If it's a 10-year trade agreement. Even one regime goes out and a new one comes, the trade agreement continues to be there. It does not get removed because ZANU-PF has been removed from power, something like that. So, which means there was nothing to fear. Which means we could dismiss the the economic reason that we had brought up that time after we had looked at how much trade is going through Tanzania that is benefiting Zambia at this juncture. So that's what is happening. As Namkoma David, Jojo Tank delivered the invitation. Gogo case that Zanu does not forgive. He has to be very careful. Soon he will bite the dust. Yeah, I think very important. He has to go there, but he has to be very, very careful. Extra careful. Ngaende nemvura yake, ngaende nezvese. Kana kuti uya neoxygen yake. Because oxygen yemuharare unogona kusaitoitrasta. Yoganga yakatobayiwa jekiseni nevaroyi ava. Vana vevatakati, right? And HH will not decree by, will not what? Degree by degree. The way to go is never ever brush shoulders with ZANU-PF. Yes, I think that's very true. And I saw a pic of him with Jojo Tank pakashata. Amen. Saka mahwani manje kana vakusvika ikoko zvakutora kuti chabvondoka. I think vanenge vakutotanga kutodiscussa totokubatsira kuwina my-elections and so on, but join the league, so Zambia manje yakufanwa kutosvinura. The Zambian people must now begin to wake up, because once Hichilema shows signs that he's now dining with the devil, right, then they have to be very careful. We have told Tanzanians, and they took it lightly. We told Kenyans, they took it lightly, that when you see Vanawikne hovering around your state house, be very careful, because anything can happen at any point, right? So thank you once again for joining me on the show. Let me just make an announcement. We are going to have our Dark World, I think it's 34, if I'm correct, 33 or 34. Then we are going to be talking about the book of Daniel today. I know that many people were crying for the book of Daniel, so we are going to be doing it tonight. It's going to be the last show of the day, so don't miss that one. You really are going to enjoy it. That's when you will see how lively the Bible is, that the word of God is really alive. And things that were spoken hundreds and hundreds of years ago, we are going to be putting them to life today and matching it to what we are seeing happening in the world today. And that's how you are going to enjoy it. So for those that love the word, right, we are going to be meeting in Dark World 33, and we are looking at understanding the prophetic and looking at the book of Daniel. So otherwise, Masura se Eruda, Trikuda Mayana Daniel Uyanas. Saka gadzirai, right? Right. Otherwise, this is what it is. Thank you so much, family. Let's join each other in the next show. We have 3 more shows before we go to the book of Daniel. So stay with us. Don't go away and remain blessed.